Hey, Dave, welcome to the show. As a way of getting started, tell us about yourself.
Well, thank you very much for asking, Brian. I will do that. And first of all, I want to tell you, Brian, I am a major fan of yours. I really am. When I first saw you doing those videos, walking down the street, talking
Yeah.
to your boss or whatever, like, hey, it's my boss, everybody. Hey, one
Hang
second.
on a second.
Oh, this guy's crazy. You want me to do what? Stress benefits, just give him a contract, no benefits? What? Uh, I fell in love with it, and I watch them all. I absolutely love it. I'm a super fan. I want you to know that. But about me, okay, I've been very blessed to be extremely successful in sales for 30 plus years. I started off in college selling door-to-door air filtration units, and I made a fortune doing that back when I was 18 years old. I'm so proud of that. And then from there, so many things like selling DSL T1 lines, television advertising, and access to compliance websites for safety directors, environmental directors. And most recently, I'm so proud of this, is in my book right there. If I may just brag for 1 second. Okay, How to Be a Great Salesperson by Monday Morning. And this was released March 2nd, 2017. And I love telling the year when it was released because every year I sell more and more books. Every year it's just more and more. And 3 months after my book was released, it was selected as a top 10 must-read book in sales and marketing by Top Sales World. So
congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So that's very exciting.
Oh, what was your hardest sales job?
My hardest sales job, I'll tell you the truth. My hardest sales job, let me think about this for a second. I was living in LA. It was back in the 70s, and I was selling toner, ink for Xerox machines. I think everybody's paid their dues in that one. I'd have to be at the office, like at 6 a.m. on the phone selling toner to the East Coast. It was like, oh my God.
Oh boy, yeah, the time change is a killer.
It was brutal. It was just, that was my worst one. Okay,
how about the most complex?
The most complex. I would say probably selling access to compliance websites, for HR directors, safety directors, and and I'm even doing that now, and it's actually a lot of fun. I really love it because it's just keeping everybody on the right side of the law. HR directors like to say, it's very detailed, but it's so much fun doing it.
Yeah, well, that brings up a great point because I talk about it a lot as far as talking about what the other person cares about. How they get rewarded.
Yeah.
Not what they should care about, but what they do care about.
Uh-huh.
Because a lot of us, we talk about what the product does, how it works, how it's different, how it's better. And we push the interpretation or the bridging of that information onto our clients instead of us getting in and explaining exactly why they should care and what happens to them personally if they don't fix this problem that we solve.
Yeah.
Now, what was the impetus to write your book?
Well, I'll tell you, the reason why I wrote my book, like I said, I've been very blessed to be very successful in sales for 30 years. Every place I've ever worked, top producer, very blessed, okay? And the reason why I wrote my book, Brian, is because I heard somewhere, I read it somewhere, I can't remember, is that everybody should write an autobiography. Everybody should write their own story for their children so their children know more about them. Yeah. So I thought, yeah, that's a great idea. So I'm thinking of all the success I have in sales, and I thought, I wrote the book for my son because I want my son to know all my stuff. I want him to know everything I know. I don't want to leave this world thinking there was something I could have said to him to make his life easier, and I didn't. So that's why I wrote the book. And most recently, I have to tell you, I did an interview with, I know Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup for the Soul, Success Principle. I had an interview with him, and I told him that same story, and he looked at me and says, "Oh, so it was written with love?" And I went, "Yeah." I didn't think of it like that, but it was, and I think that's one of the reasons why the book is so successful is because people pick up on that. I get people emailing me saying, "I feel a connection with you. I feel something," so that's why.
And your son's in sales?
No, he's not. Well,
What happened? A failed childhood, huh?
no, actually, he works for, in college, he majored in computer science and Japanese, and right now he's working for Charles Schwab. You know,
A perfect combination.
yeah, isn't that something? So, but aren't we all in sales? I mean, if there's little tricks, just saying someone's name so you get their attention first, just little things. So,
Yeah, that's it. Because I wrote my book what I found by doing it, it's a great exercise.
oh yeah,
Right, because we have we have our notebooks, we have our memory, we have our system, we have our habits, but they're easily misplaced, forgotten, and not accessible at the moment that they're most helpful.
yeah, oh yeah,
How many sales meetings have you left and you go, I should have asked this question, I should have closed for the next step, I should have done this.
yeah.
We kind of recognize why they asked that question, that there was a lot more behind it than just the words.
Yeah. Every now and then I'll read my own book. Okay. It's like, it's on my nightstand with other stuff, but I'll read my own book and it'll be like, oh, I forgot about that part. It's like, whoa, it's a great refresher for myself. Yeah.
And I had mine on Audible, and I would listen to the pertinent parts based off of the deal when I was faced with that element of the deal.
Yeah.
And that's it, even though, because you don't sit down and write a book over a month or a couple of months.
No.
It's a year and a half project. 2 years?
2 years for me. Yeah.
Yeah. And how many times did you read it in that process? You would think you'd had it memorized, but you don't.
No.
You're human.
Yeah. And I can't tell you, and I know this has happened to you and everybody out there who's written books, it's like I'll be lying in bed. It's 3:00 in the morning. I'll wake up to go to the bathroom or something, right? And I'll get back in bed and I'll be lying there, and all of a sudden a thought hits you. Oh my gosh, you got to get up, go to your computer, start writing, so it's like, oh my goodness. But
and I think it's probably a good exercise for anybody at some level. It doesn't have to be published, but it should be anywhere but just in your head.
Yes. Yeah. I so agree. Get it out there.
Your head is the worst place to keep it.
this file part, that file part.
Yeah. Because that's it. Because as mammals, we're not very good at pulling out information when we need it. We're very good at, analyzing it when we're relaxed in the shower.
Yeah.
Or sitting down with a notebook or out at a picnic, and boom, it comes to us.
Yeah.
But that's not sales. Sales is you're in the game, you're on the field.
Yeah.
Right. And our brain switches to our subconscious. Right. And if it's not there, it doesn't get used.
Yeah.
That's why every sport, it's practice.
Yeah.
The same thing, to move it from our conscious to our subconscious where it needs to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I sometimes call that subconscious the hard drive.
That's the hard drive. That's the OS, the operating system.
Exactly. And sometimes, like you said, you go down there and reach for it. Like, whoa, where is it?
It's like it's going to search for it. It's like moving that disk around too many times and it can't find it, or it finds the wrong thing.
Yeah, practice.
Now, let's get into like my favorite topic is what makes the difference between the great reps and the good reps.
Well, I got to tell you, nowadays, I personally feel that people, whether they realize it or not, they're really craving for the human touch, whether they know it or not, because everything's email, text, this, that, and the other. And the good reps and the great reps, there's a lot of little things in my book, actually, that cover that. And one is like, there's so many little steps, so many little, tiny little things people can do. It's like, for me, I definitely think that the most important thing anybody can do when they're approaching a customer, anything like that, the very first thing you want to do is make them laugh. That's the very first thing. Forget everything else, make them laugh. And usually self-deprecating jokes work best. It's like, if you hear something creaking, that's my bones. I can't take this cold weather, I'll tell you. Because as you know, I know when I talk to you, I know I'm preaching to the choir. I know that. But when you get someone laughing, they relax, they listen. Endorphins are released in their brain. They're happy, and they're thinking that you're really cool because you're the one who made them laugh. And they're thinking, oh, this is going to be fun. Right. So they relax their guards. So first thing you want to do is make them laugh. And How to Be a Great Salesperson by Monday Morning, my book, it's pretty much written in a chronological order of what one should do. Because like I say, I wrote this for my son, so I want him to get the steps, and it starts off with me. I won't get, I could get going forever. Once I get started, I get excited. But first thing is make them laugh, and then enthusiasm and benefits, or enthusiasm and attitude, and then benefits, and then urgency, and it just keeps going and going.
Yeah, because I think that part is overlooked. People
Yeah.
call it rapport, people call it bonding, and I agree. Humor, for most of us, is the easiest way.
Yeah.
And if self-deprecating, because we can talk about ourselves,
Yeah.
or something in common.
Yeah.
That's why most people talk about the weather. Right?
Yeah.
Right. And I think in the last 5 years, a lot of sales experts have been saying it doesn't matter. Well,
I disagree.
Well, you have different, like say you go into an emergency room. You don't have to, the doctor doesn't have to crack a joke because you need the doctor.
Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're knocking door to door, you better be able to break down that cold, like, who are you? You here to harm me or give me something?
Yeah. Right.
Because it is that mammal. I use the analogy, two dogs meet in a park.
Mm-hmm.
They either bark at each other to like keep each other away. The smart dog lays down on its back, shows its belly, and says, I'm here to play.
Hey.
Right. I'm not going to hurt you. Right?
Let's have some fun.
Yeah. It's a day in the park. Right. And that dog makes a lot of friends.
Yeah.
And I think we are naturally very cautious of strangers.
Yeah.
Because that's what selling mostly is. It's conversing with strangers.
Yeah.
And who teaches us that? Did your parents teach you how to talk to strangers? They said, don't talk to strangers.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't make eye contact. Don't talk to strangers. Yeah.
Because they are outside of our tribe.
Yeah.
And humor is basically showing your belly. It's saying, I'm not here to hurt you.
Yeah.
Let's have, at minimum, a fun conversation.
Yeah. Brian, when I was a freshman in college and I was selling air filtration units, right? Not a lot sexy about that. You had to make it sexy. I'm 18 years old, did incredibly well in that job, though I'm so proud of it when I look back. But I used to go in someone's home and I'd have on my sport coat. And I'd go, do you mind if I take off my sport coat? They go, no, go ahead. So I'd take off my sport coat. I'd turn my back to the customer and I go, oh my gosh, excuse me, this isn't the shirt with the hole in the back, is it? Right, exactly. And they'd start laughing. And it never failed. After somebody started laughing, they were like, oh, can I get you a drink? You want anything? I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be nice. Okay.
Right. Because with humor, you align yourself with them.
Yeah.
You become part of the tribe almost instantaneously because you're talking about what they care about.
Yeah.
And people say, well, I don't have a sense of humor. It's like the hole in the shirt didn't take comedic skill, did it?
No. I didn't have to graduate from the improv to figure that one out.
You didn't. And people just, joking about the traffic, about the time of year, the craziness that's going on in the world.
I'm afraid to get out of bed with everything going on. I'm going to stay in bed. Call me in a year.
Yeah.
It's funny.
What other things did you see the difference between great reps and okay reps?
Another thing is, and here's a simple little thing. I got a list, let me tell you. But another thing, everyone listening, these are things I'm so thrilled to share these with people. It's like somebody's name, okay? Yeah. The sweetest sound to anyone's ears is the sound of his or her own name. You can never, ever, 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 ever say your customer's name too many times. And think about this, okay, once I get going here, Brian. Okay, so anyways, but the thing is, when you say someone's name, okay, now listen, everybody, you own their thoughts for 3 seconds. So it's like if I go, Brian, 2, 3, 4, I own your thoughts because it's been programmed in us since birth. It's like your mother says your name. You listen. Somebody said, if I go like Ted, everybody named Ted, I just got their attention. So when you're doing a demonstration or something like that, let's say you're coming to a wow factor in your presentation. First, say your customer's name. You will have their undivided attention, And Tom, 2, 3, 4. Tom, I wanted to point out this here, so that's very, very important. You're bonding. Every time you say their name, you're bonding. It's these tweaky little things,
I think it's first, you got to make sure you know how to pronounce it correctly. If it's a Tom, do they want Thomas or Tom?
Yeah. Now, there you go.
It is a sign of respect.
Oh, indeed.
Yeah. Because, the Mr. or Mrs. today isn't as often used.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is a sign of respect and sign of that you put enough energy in to want to say their name the way they want.
Yeah.
Right.
No, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. It's like you use your middle initial probably because it's a common name. Right.
Well, my middle name is Ralph, so I use.
Well, Dave's a common name and Cook's a common name, right?
Yeah. So it's kind of like David R. Cook is my author name, but I prefer Dave Cook.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just easier.
What else?
Well, another thing, 3 other things. I call it EBU. Okay, EBU: enthusiasm, benefits, and urgency. Okay, I mean, like I say, there's a whole list, but these are the tip of the iceberg. It's like enthusiasm, as you know, Brian. I mean, you have to be excited. You have to get excited, because if you're not excited, why should your customer be excited?
Yeah.
Right? And all my life, people say, "Oh, enthusiasm sells. You have to be enthusiastic." And I'd be like, "Well, okay, but how am I supposed to get enthusiastic?" Well, I have a way to do that. Okay, so here's a little thing, everyone. You have to be excited, right? So a quick little way to get yourself excited before you go on an appointment, because your level of excitement is your customer's level of excitement, okay? So what you want to do, a little trick that I use. Okay, close your eyes and think of the absolute happiest time in your life. The time that you were the absolute happiest. Could be your first date, your first kiss, when you got married, when your child was born, whatever it may be. Lock that into your mind. Get it in there, okay? So when you go to visit your customer, when you put their hand on the office door where you're going to go in for your appointment or whatever it is, think about that time. So you're back to the happiest time in your life. You suddenly got yourself psyched up. Whoa, okay. So there's more ways, but that's one really good way.
And I think excitement and enthusiasm are contagious.
Yeah.
And, I got a bad start to this in my career because I was selling to engineers.
Oh,
right. Who are neither enthusiastic or excited. So you had to kind of like build that up.
Yeah.
But it would happen. And anybody who goes on a sales job interview, if you're not enthusiastic or excited, forget it.
Yeah.
That will matter much more than your college degree, your handshake, your resume, your quota, your W-2.
Yeah.
Because that is what they want to hear.
Yeah.
And see and sense.
Yeah.
And if for that single sales call, you should learn how to be able to manage your mood and express it.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool.
And another one, can I do another one?
Yeah, we got time.
Okay. Let's make a little sip of water, if I may. Yeah. I never know how much time is left, so maybe that's why I race a little bit, because I got so much that I want to get in. But the EBU, I told you, EBU, enthusiasm, benefits, and urgency. And then the next one is benefits. Everyone, it's like benefits. Stress those benefits, those whole filling benefits. Benefits. For example, okay, let's say that you're selling like a baseball. The product doesn't matter. Okay, let's say you're selling a baseball. Okay, so when someone's buying a baseball, they don't care about the stitches in that baseball. They don't care about the leather in that baseball. What they're buying is the fact that they can play catch with their kids. That's the benefit. The fact that they can hit a home run. Yay! That's what they're buying. Maybe tell them, baseball lasts 10 years, however long baseballs last. I don't know. But they don't care. So don't go out into the weeds and the stitching and the leather, because that's not what they're buying. They're buying the fact they can play catch with their kids. That's what you want to stress. And you can play catch with your kids.
That's it. And what happens when you play catch with your kids? I mean, do you remember playing catch with your son?
Oh yeah, God.
I bet he does too, right?
Oh yeah, the memory lives forever. Yeah.
Right. So it's not the baseball; it's that outcome that you get. Right?
Yeah.
That memory, that bonding.
Yeah.
right? Because, sons and fathers, you got to find something you have in common,
Yeah.
right?
That's rite of passage stuff.
Yeah, and the baseball itself, you're right. It doesn't matter. Could have been a tennis ball if a baseball wasn't around.
There you go.
Right?
Exactly.
It's probably
Sometimes
easier in case you hit somebody with it.
right. Sometimes it was.
The question I have for people who have been in career sales,
Mhm.
how do you stay motivated? Because I see a lot of people get burnt out after good 15, 20 years in sales, never mind 30.
Yeah. How do you stay motivated? I don't, something, Brian, it's just, I'm so competitive and I have so much fun doing this, that it doesn't take much for me to stay motivated, and it's like, I want to be successful. You got to think of what does motivate you, I want to be successful in my son's eyes and people around me, my family.
Your identity. Yeah.
Yeah, right. That keeps me motivated. And the fact that and I really, really mean what really, one of the things I really like is the fact that your product or your service can make someone's life better. I get a major kick out of that also, so that motivates me. And they call me up later or send me an email about my book or something. Dave, thank you. Oh, that was so awesome. I love it. And I'm like, yay,
Yeah.
So those kind of things.
And what separated you from the rest of the pack when in the company?
Yeah. Well, probably, my enthusiasm, everything I'm talking about right now, my enthusiasm and competitiveness, I just had to be or have to be number one, because that's just what I do, But and I like it, but I like everybody around me selling also, because if everybody's selling, you're going to sell more, Yeah. But it's mainly things I'm talking about right now. It's what always kept me number one: being excited, stressing those benefits, saying the customer's name over and over, making them laugh right up front. Get excited. It's a party. Have fun. Turn it into a game. People love playing games.
Right.
Make it a game. Yay!
Instead of being stiff and worrying about the rejection.
Yeah.
How do you bond with another person? How do you communicate with them? Because a lot of times what we sell is timing based, where you have to plant the seed, and when the timing arrives, like real estate, you're either in the market or you're not.
Right.
You're not going to convince somebody to get into the market.
Right.
Maybe for a summer home or timeshare or something. But, the triggers, you wait for them. They get married, they have kids, they retire. Whatever it is, they get relocated. It's a trigger event, but they will most likely go with either the realtor they know, like, and trust, or a referral from somebody who has that relationship with them.
Yeah, exactly.
And do you have any particular routines that you do daily to kind of keep you excited and focused and not get burnt out?
There is no question about that one. Yes, I do. Okay. And you ask these questions and it sets me off on a whole, I love it. And it's affirmations. Okay. This is what I do to keep myself pumped up, and I'll tell you, everybody, these affirmations, they start at night. Okay. When you go to bed, for me, they don't start. I tell everybody, start them at night, because I am, use the words I am, because you can Google that. The words I am are very powerful, But at night, before you go to bed, I am blessed. I am happy. I am the greatest salesperson in the world. I am this. When you're going to sleep and you're in the twilight, say this stuff, because when you wake up, that'll get into your body all night, positive, wonderful stuff. Yep. Now, in the morning, what I do, I set my alarm every morning for 6:20 a.m. Okay, goes off, and between 6:20 and 6:30, that's when I start my affirmations. Okay, I'm a blessed individual. I am positive. I am happy. Greatest salesperson in the world. Whatever works for you. All the I ams. Whatever works for you. And then I say a prayer for the world so everybody's happy. And then I pop up out of bed, because a lot of people. I tell people, people get up in the morning and the first thing they put on is their clothes. And it's like, no.
It's all reactive instead of proactive.
Yeah. The first thing you have to put on is your attitude. That's the first thing you put on. Because your attitude is like your shirt. People can see your attitude like they can see your shirt, okay?
Right. Oh, it comes through, yeah.
Yeah, make sure that if your attitude isn't right, stay home. Yeah, you know. Yeah.
And where can people go to get your book?
Well, I'll tell you exactly where they can go. On my website, it's very simple. I'm happy to say it's davidrcook.com. That's it, davidrcook.com. And also, Brian, if I may say, I am extremely proud of, I recently released my masterclass. The book, there we go. These cameras kind of throw me off sometimes. The book, you know, it's like an hour and a half read. You can read it on the weekend, and you can go in Monday morning with tips that I think you'll find quite mind-blowing, and they're definitely going to work for you. And the